Have you ever made a promise, in the name of love, that you never truly understood? A vow so deep, it felt eternal. But innocent, in your eyes. What if that vow wasn't just emotional, but spiritual? And what if, years later, everything in your life started falling apart, and you couldn't explain why? This is the story of two young lovers, Daniel and Amara, bound by blood, blinded by love, broken by time. A love story that began in childhood, sealed with a dangerous covenant, and tested by distance, desire, and deception. Daniel was born into a struggling home. The first son, in a family of 5, his father, once a mechanic, now bedridden from an accident, his mother, a trader who sold vegetables in the morning and firewood in the evening. Life was not easy, but Daniel was sharp, smart, focused, and respectful. They called him small professor in the village, because even at 8, he always carried books in his hands. He had dreams. He wanted more than poverty. And above all, he wanted to make his mother proud. Amara was the last child of her family, the only girl, and the joy of her father's heart. Her family was better off. Her father was a retired teacher, disciplined, but soft-hearted. Her mother, a prayerful woman, known for helping neighbors and giving advice that felt like prophecy. Amara grew up with kindness in her soul. She would read under the moonlight and help her mother sweep the compound singing hymns. She was calm, simple, but deep. She wasn't loud, but her presence always filled a room. When they both finished primary school, their parents had no idea that destiny was setting something up. By grace, both Daniel and Amara passed the state scholarship exam. The government selected only 10 children in the entire LGA to attend a prestigious secondary school, St. Stephen's College, far from the village. And guess what? Daniel and Amara both made the list. 2 children from different worlds, now headed to the same place, same class, same hostel, same future. But what no one saw was that something spiritual had already begun. Their lives were no longer just theirs. Fate had drawn a circle around them. And slowly, step by step, love began to grow. But before love would bloom, something darker was watching, waiting. Daniel had always known that Amara was different. He didn't know how or why, but the moment he saw her in that dusty classroom, something in him shifted. They were just kids then, barely teenagers. But even at that age, Amara had a calmness that drew people in. She wasn't loud or flashy like the other girls. No, she was quiet, soft, but her presence spoke louder than words. They became friends first. The kind of friends that did everything together, walked home after school, shared homework answers, and laughed at the same silly jokes every single day. But what started as innocent friendship slowly grew into something else. Something deeper. They didn't say it out loud, but both of them knew it. There was love, young love, pure love. By the time they were both 17, their bond was uncheckable. People around them joked that they were already husband and wife. And truly, it felt like that. Daniel would say, "Even if I travel far away, my heart will always stay with you." And Amara would just smile and reply, "I'll wait." But Daniel was scared. Not of her, not of their love, but of life. Of the way life had a habit of tearing good things apart. He had heard too many stories of lovers who grew apart because of time, distance, or temptation, and he didn't want that. He didn't want to lose Amara. So one evening, as they sat under the old mango tree behind the village square, he brought it up. "Let's do something that will bind us forever," he said. Amara looked at him, confused. "What do you mean?" "A blood covenant," Daniel replied. Amara froze. "Blood, Daniel? That's serious." "I know," he said, "but I love you. And I want to prove it. Let's make a vow that no matter what happens, we'll never leave each other. We'll always come back. Our blood will remember." She was hesitant, but love can make people do foolish things. And in that moment, all she wanted was to stay connected to him forever, so they did it. With a tiny blade, Daniel pricked his palm. Amara did the same. They pressed their hands together. Their blood mixed. The wind blew strangely that night. The trees rustled in a way that made the air feel heavier. But they didn't pay attention to that. "We are one," Daniel whispered, and just like that, they sealed their love, not knowing that what they had just done was far deeper than romance, that blood, that vow. It was more than teenage love, it was a spiritual bond. A covenant that the spirit world did not take lightly. At the time, they felt powerful, like nothing could ever separate them. But love alone isn't always enough, and some vows come with a price. Few months after their final exams, Daniel left for the city, chasing his dreams, while Amara stayed back in the village, holding on to a promise, sealed in blood. Their hearts were still connected. But distance has a way of testing love. At first, they called every night. Every moment was filled with laughter, with longing, and with plans for the future. But then, the calls slowed down, the replies came late. Excuses replaced "I miss you," and in the city, Daniel was seeing a different world, fast, loud, tempting.